PHP Forms get and post. PHP Form Handling. The most important thing to notice when dealing with HTML forms and PHP is that any form element with an HTML page will automatically be available to your PHP scripts. And we'll be showing you that later. So the example here, so we have here a PHP form example. The example below contains an HTML form with two input fields and a submit button. So we have here form action. Okay. So form action. So here is where we put the page or the file that will be open if we submit the form. And then here is the method of passing the data from this form to this page here. So that means that if we click submit, it will open this form and the data will be passed using the post method. So we have here two text boxes with the name, fname, and age. So it's important that we remember these names here. So when a user fills out the form above and click on the submit button, the form data is sent to the PHP file, welcome PHP. So that's the purpose of the action. So welcome PHP looks like this. So here welcome, and then we have here PHP, then we have here $sign post fname. So where did we get fname? Fname is actually the name we have given in our form. And then age here, the same age here, also the name that we have given in our form, especially for the text box. So what this will do, will display the name, so welcome, then the name that you entered here, so you are, and then the age will be displayed. So again, what is important here is the use of the action and the method. So what is the get function? So the get function, or the built-in get function, is used to collect values from a form sent with the method equals get. In our previous example, we have method equals post, but here we have method is equal to get. So again, we have a form and that was sent using this method. So information sent from a form with the get method is visible to everyone. Why? Because it will be displayed in the browser's address bar. So the data that will be coming from the form will be displayed on the address bar and has limits on the amount of information to send. So here's an example. So form action equals welcome PHP. So similar with the previous example, but this time around, the method we use. So the method we use. Where's my pen? So the method we use instead of post is actually get. Everything is similar. So we have a text box, input type text, name equals fname, name equals age, and then we have the button, input type equals submit. So once you click submit button, it will open welcome PHP. But this time around, you'll notice that it will be adding this. And what is this? This is actually the data that we entered in our text boxes. So that's the use of the get function. Or actually, for some, get is not a function, but get is actually a special array. So if we continue with the example, the welcome PHP file now can use the get function. So we can use the get function here to collect form data. So the form data are the data that we entered using the text box. So let's say it's HTML form. So how do we get them? So we just type $_get and then the field name. So remember that this is the name given to the text box. Again, this is also the name given to the text box. So that's how we access the data, or we collect the data from the form. So similar with the post, but just replace this get with post. So we also have the post, and this was placed on the first example. So the post function, the built-in post function is used to collect values from a form sent with the method post. So the method now should be method equals post. So in the previous example, it's method equals get. So again, it should be method equals post. Information sent from a form with the post method is invisible to others and has no limits on the amount of information to be sent. Note, however, that there's an 8 MB max size for the post method by default, but it can be changed in the PHP ini file. So you can do that. If, let's say, for example, 8 MB is not enough, then you can change the setting. So here's an example. So again, our form is the same with the previous form. We have the text box for name and age, and we use the names, f name and age. But what is different from the previous form is the method. So this time around we use the method post. So once we submit, you'll notice that our URL is still the same. We don't have data here, but for get, the data will be displayed in our address. And then the welcome PHP file can now use the post function to collect form data. The names of the form fields will automatically be the keys in the post array. So here are now our post array. Oh, sorry. Here are now our data in the post, or the field names, or the names in our input boxes. So that's how we access the post value. So similar with get, except that again, when you use get, the data will be displayed on the URL, or it will become part of the URL. So it will be displayed on the address bar. But for a post, the data will not be displayed, so it's invisible to the user. We also have the $, or the request function. The request function is actually similar with get and post, but we don't have method equals request. We can use method equals get or method equals post, but the $ request or the request function can be used for both method. So we can use the request whether we use get method or post method. So sometimes this is flexible rather than using get or the post function. So in this case, we have $, or request, the array with f name and age. So we can use this file whether we use get or post. So that's now the basics in form handling and using the get and post in PHP.